Hi there and welcome to Thursday's episode of Hoohaa Sports Today. Well, besides the warm-up tournament at Queen's ahead of the next Grand Slam event at Wimbledon and the on-again, off-again Bahrain Formula 1 Grand Prix, which by the way is off again, as Bernie Ecclestone says, it needs the consent of the teams. Things elsewhere seem to be rather quiet on the news front, but there has been some movement and rumours with regards to player transfers in the Premier League. So let's look into some of them and provide some verification. First up, Liverpool. The Reds seem to be one of the only clubs actually close to confirming their first and possibly second signing in the off-season. Here's what we know. The deal to bring over Sunderland's Jordan Henderson looks to be done. Both clubs have agreed a fee of £20 million for the 20-year-old midfielder, with Liverpool's David Ngog going the other way as a deal sweetener. Henderson is expected to arrive for medical today and will wait for the ink to dry on the contract. But there is another medical set-up at Melwoods in Merseyside, and it's been slated for Blackburn's 19-year-old centre-back Phil Jones. But that rumour has been squashed because the England under-21 has left for an international game against Denmark today. But looks as though Manchester United is preparing a £16 million deal for him. Details will become much clearer when he gets back to England. However, what looks to be on the pathway to a deal is Aston Villa's sought-after England midfielder Ashley Young. Young is expected to meet with Villa's owner Randy Lerner, who has somewhat consented to his departure as long as Alex Ferguson is willing to accept the club's valuation of £16 million. Ashley will be an ideal replacement for the retired and scandal-embroiled Ryan Giggs, as United's goalmouth vacancy is expected to be filled by Atletico Madrid's David De Gea next month. But on the flip side, Sunderland's Steve Bruce has revealed that the club is making a £12 million combined bid for three United players, John O'Shea, Darren Gibson and Wes Brown. After the sale of Darren Bent to Aston Villa, Sunderland have some funds available, and with Jordan Henderson off to Liverpool, Bruce is more than keen to get the trio to deepen his squad and increase its strength. Bruce is currently on holiday with his family in Portugal and was not exactly ready to comment officially about the deals until the club made an official move for the players. Elsewhere, there was a report indicating that Chelsea's Didier Drogba has put in a request to leave the club for Tottenham, because as we football fans know, things haven't been stable for the Ivorian ever since Fernando Torres arrived at Stamford Bridge. But that seems unlikely. Drogba is apparently on holiday at the moment, and if any news were to emerge on his future, it will surely come in the next few weeks. The player movements between clubs and deals would slowly trickle in over the next few weeks, and we will keep you posted with some of the significant movements as they develop. So what to do this weekend? You can go on a vacation or just follow the Formula 1 action in Canada. But ahead of the race weekend, F1 News was hogged by the reinstatement of the Bahrain Grand Prix to the F1 calendar this season. Slated to be the season opener, the Bahrain GP was called off due to the civil unrest in the kingdom. And after they lifted the state of emergency earlier this month, Bahrain was reinstated to the calendar in October, pushing India's inaugural F1 race to December. However, due to various concerns raised by the teams, F1 boss Bernie Ecclestone has told the BBC that the race is not on. This after the teams wrote to the FIA on Tuesday expressing their objections to Bahrain being put back on the calendar. But it seems the FIA had overlooked Article 66 of its own sporting code, which says that no amendments can be made to the arrangements for a championship after entries open without the agreement of all competitors. But an FIA spokesman emphasized that the decisions to initially call off the race in February and then to reinstate it were both proposed by Ecclestone. He also added that no one had voted against the decision to bring back the Bahrain race at last Friday's meeting. The teams and the majority of F1's decision makers head to Canada this weekend for the 7th race of the season, where there is expected to be more discussion on the future of the Bahrain GP and the 2011 calendar. So we'll do just that as we wrap up today's episode with Red Bull's Mark Webber giving us a virtual track guide of the Montreal circuit. Until tomorrow, I'm Patrick for the team saying it's bye for now.
The Canadian Grand Prix. I think of a great atmosphere in the city, beautiful restaurants, and a challenging race for the drivers.
Canada. 4.4 kilometres, 70 laps, all in all 305 kilometres. 4 high-speed stretches, 2 slow turns, 3 ideal spots for overtaking, top speed 323 kilometres an hour.
Here we are in Montreal in Canada, starting a lap in the Red Bull simulator. Braking very, very hard into the first corner. It's a big stop, and then into turn 2, which is even tighter. Very long right-hander. Important to get nice, clean traction. A lot of spectators watching at this part of the track. We have a big river on the left-hand side. Braking for the first chicane. jumping the curbs in the right way. Watch the curb on the right-hand side as you can put you into the wall. Through the quick little kinks here, nice part of the circuit for the driver. Braking very tight again. A lot of spectators again at this grandstand watching the cars. Accelerating hard away, up close to the wall again. We still have the river on our left-hand side. Very picturesque part of the circuit coming up here. We're braking tight for another chicane. Again, very important to get the curbing right. Close to the wall on the exit. We come down to a spectacular part of the circuit now for overtaking. Very big stop, second gear or first, depending on what ratios you have. Accelerating hard away. Along this back straight now, coming back towards the pits, over 300 kilometres an hour, making sure no one's trying to overtake. Braking very, very hard for the last chicane, which is incredibly tight and easy to make a mistake. Very close to the wall here on the exit. Then finishing the lap at a very tricky but rewarding Montreal Grand Prix.